Hey gang, welcome back to Jade's Garage. Yes, I'm doing something a little bit different today. I'm trying to film with my DJI Osmo. I normally do time-lapse videos with this camera, but I thought I'm going to try using it in different ways and making videos specifically with this camera. I will also use my other camera to make some of the shots, but I'm going to use this camera today and see how this works. Now, as you can see, this gives you a different perspective of the shot. I'm not holding a camera in my face and aiming it at myself. I'm able to look at you, look around and see what's going on and talk about what's in the shot. So you already know that I've been working on the 68 Mustang known as Jade. I'm going to continue with that. And part of that process is I need to put the door seals in the car. Now these are the stainless strips that go above the quarter glass and the driver or the door windows and creates a seal. So basically it's got some foam on it that holds it up against the roof rail section, and then internally it's got a foam piece of material or foam seal that goes inside of this so that when your window comes up it hits that. So that is the plan for today. I will point out this has some sort of foam on it. I don't think this is necessarily original because this car has been painted many times. So I'm going to remove this material and then go over what I'm going to put in to replace that. So I hope that you kind of like the way I have this camera set up, but again, this is an opening shot and we're going to experiment and see how this goes. So again, these pieces are stainless steel, and a lot of times when people take these out, they're a little aggressive with them and they can bend them. You've got to be very careful with these and take your time getting them out. When you're removing these, it's nice to have a putty knife, get in between and separate the tape as much as you can and gently pull these out. You'll notice that there are little metal tabs right here, okay? Those are kind of like an alignment up in the roof rail. There's a spot for those to go. There's two of those, maybe three. I know there's two for sure. Sometimes they get bent, like on this one. These are bent back a little bit. Won't really hurt anything. You can straighten that out. It's stainless steel. It'll bend pretty easily. You'll also notice that whenever I took these out, I have these little bags that I attach all the hardware to. This is a good habit you should have. Just make sure that you do have the screws. It takes a special kind of screw to put this back together. So at this point, what I want to do is just remove this old tape. And you can see basically a lot of it's just going to peel right off. I may have to use some cleaners to get it off. I may have to use a putty knife to get it off, but it's not going to take much. You can see there, it just kind of scrapes right off. So along with that, I'm going to clean these up a bit. Sometimes it may take a little lacquer thinner on a paper towel to clean off some of the residue. Sometimes you can get away with something like this tub of towels. Wipe it down, get it clean, and then what I want to do, or what I will do, is I will apply this foam tape. Now, this is actually something I bought off of Amazon. They sell this tape, through different NPD and CJ Pony and whatnot, but this one, it was relatively cheap. I mean, like less than $10 for this roll, and I think it's going to do the exact same thing. It's got a compression to it. It's kind of soft. It's about an 1/8 inch thick, and that's really what was already on there. So I'm going to get this stuff all cleaned off, and then I'll work on getting that tape onto each one of these. So here it is all cleaned up, right? And you probably saw earlier I was taking the putty knife and I was pressing down where the holes were because these were buckled up from somebody over tightening or tightening the screws and compressing that in through the foam. So I just pressed those back down to flatten it out. There are 4 tabs sticking out. One there, one here, and one all the way in the back at the bottom towards the back of the quarter window. So what you could do is, I know those are meant to be like an alignment. You could or can test fit this in the car before you do anything else. So in case these have to be adjusted or moved or anything like that, you can take care of that and make that happen. So the next step will be to put on this foam tape. Now this only has one side that has adhesive on it. So obviously I'll peel that off, stick it to the piece of stainless steel, and that'll leave a non-sticky side facing up. And that's all you should really need. I think the original stuff was maybe sticky on both sides, but it's not crazy critical. If you want to spend the money on the other stuff, by all means go ahead, but this is what I'm using. And that's it, ready to go in. I'm just going to check my number of screws that I have. I'll count 10. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 holes. So I may have been missing one from the start, I don't know. But now is probably a good time. I'll talk about these screws real quick. You know, these are kind of a flathead. They're almost like they're a self-tapping screw, honestly, and they've got kind of a flat head to them. So you could clean these up a little bit with a wire wheel, wire brush, throw some paint on them. Probably not a bad idea, just to make them look nice, and go from there. Now these, of course, will be covered by the inner seal that goes onto that stainless strip. I clean these up a little, threw some paint on them, good to go. I will point out, when you go to put this in, you can probably see what I call witness marks, and that is where the screw was in the hole. So hopefully when this goes back up in place, you know, if the hole is a little offset or if the screw is a little offset, you can kind of use that to identify where the hole is in the roof section. So let me see if I can get this in. Now of course the idea is to get these little tabs, as I mentioned before, in the hole. So I'm going to start in the back. That's your easiest one to get to, and makes more sense because it drops in behind the quarter window slightly. Then I'm going to come up and catch the next one, get that in the hole, get the next one in, and they all fit. Another thing you can use is a scribe or an awl to find the hole. Alright, make sure I got them all in. And I'm not going to make them all tight until I have them all in place. And there it is in place. Now I was missing a screw here. It may not be that critical to have that screw in place. This thing, the flat edge holds really well, so it shouldn't be a problem. But all the screws are in. Next thing up is to get the seal in that channel. So the next part, we'll be installing the actual weather strip seal. This is again a Daniel Carpenter product. Really like his stuff. Inside this kit should be 2 seals. So as you look at these, you'll see there's a little metal tab here, and that is for a screw. This goes to the A-pillar, and there should be a hole in the A-pillar for this to be attached. So with that in mind, if you look at these, I would think, this one being the passenger side. Reason for that is the fat part. So if you were to look at this up in the car as it was against the piece of stainless, then that fat part has to go to the inside so that when the door window hits it, like say the door window, it actually hits it and kind of rotates it in. So really not much to this. You might want to put it out in the sun or stretch it out a little bit to make sure that it's not trying to curl up on you. But basically these lips right here should tuck right into your piece of stainless. Now you can put some weather strip adhesive on this. I will probably do that. The reason for that, this thing is going to hold itself basically up in place, but if something were to pull on it or snag on it, it may want to come out. But there's really not much weight to these that it's going to want to fall out of the piece of stainless. So as I've used before, this is the black super weather strip adhesive from 3M, part number 08008. It's down here way at the bottom of the tube. So as I said, there's a hole right here in the windshield frame / A-pillar that's a starting point. So when you put this in, that's where you want to start. You don't want to try to pull the seal from the back. If you started back there and you didn't get the positioning just right, well, then you're going to end up fighting with it here. And really you shouldn't have to stretch the seal. It should be the right length. Should be, but just have caution. You may even want to put the seal in place, make sure it's going to fit the perimeter, and then you'll know if you need to do any adjustments to it prior to actually applying the weather strip adhesive. Now this seal is probably one of the easiest seals to put in this car. I did not glue it yet, I just did a test fit, but there's an inner lip here, there's an outer lip here. Basically just take that inner, push it against, and then run the next piece, or the outer piece in, and it just goes right in. Real nice and easy. I did check the length was fine, and so now I can take it loose, put some glue on it, and put it back in the car. So as you saw, I glued it in several places. It doesn't hurt to do the whole thing. You may want to do the whole thing, but I just want to show you that with the window in the up position at this point, and if I shut the door, it sounds really solid. Now, there are some variances, in the height of the glass and the height of the quarter window. There may be some adjustments you can make on your car if need be, but I'm pretty happy with how that looks and how it sounds. So yeah, another part done. Well, that'll be the end of this video. This seal is not that difficult to put in. Some weather strip adhesive, a little test fitting, pretty simple. Probably one of the, again, as I said, probably one of the easiest seals to put in this whole car. I hope you found some useful information, something that will help you with your project and keep you moving forward until you get yours done. Now, let me just point out some things here at the end of this video, and I may be talking about this more as we go forward. I plan on posting more videos to Patreon, and what that means is you will probably see shorter segment videos of the process on YouTube and longer versions on Patreon. So I encourage you to sign on to Patreon and become part of that team and help me keep making videos. There's a link in the box below where I talk about the video. If you click on show more, it'll open up a Patreon link and also an Amazon link. And also if you look at my banner on the top side, there are buttons up there that you can hit as well. It'll take you to those locations. So thanks for the support, and until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.